There's an athlete greater than Jordan, Gretzky, Phelps, Ali, Tiger combined. And if you live outside of Canada, you probably never even heard his name. When I tell you about the insane mission he took on and what he did after it, I think you're going to agree. Do you remember that part in Forrest Gump where he just runs across the country and people start following him? Well, that basically happened in real life, except this guy only had one leg. His name was Terry Fox. And his story didn't just inspire millions, it really redefined what ordinary people thought was possible. Terry was only 18 when the doctors diagnosed him with osteogenic sarcoma, which is bone cancer. His right leg was amputated just a few inches above the knee. And for most people, that's just completely devastating and, of course, would have been the end of their athletic dreams. But that's not why people still talk about Terry Fox. After 16 months of grueling chemotherapy, Terry had seen just too much. Kids younger than him, some clinging to hope in cancer wards, some already feeling completely defeated. So in October of 1979, Terry wrote a letter to the Canadian Cancer Society, and he said he would conquer his disability and finish a run even if I have to crawl every last mile. He called it the Marathon of Hope, and his goal was to raise $1 million for cancer by running across Canada from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific. And sure, that mission sounds impossible, but he wanted to do it, of course, on his one leg. And that's not even the craziest part. On April 12, 1980, Terry dipped his artificial leg into the Atlantic Ocean in St. John's, Newfoundland, and he started west. And at first, nobody noticed. His first week brought in just $400. Crowds were tiny, sometimes non-existent, and he and his friend Doug slept in their van. Terry's awkward sort of hop-step running style, it looked painful, and some people even laughed at him. But every day, his routine was the same: wake up, eat breakfast, run. Break for lunch, run some more. Break in the afternoon, run again in the evening. All on a prosthetic leg that wasn't designed for running. You see, Terry wasn't just running. He was stopping in towns, schools, community centers, over 400 of them, talking about cancer research. So slowly, the word began to spread, and a reporter showed up, and then another. And suddenly, Canadians started lining highways to cheer him on. They could see him grinding it out, refusing to stop, and it really made them pay attention. Terry made it impossible to ignore. But as the miles piled up, Terry's story really caught fire. More TV crews started showing up, more people lining the highways. People saw this kid with this painful stride, refusing to quit. Kids started running alongside of him, and strangers were handing him money and letters telling him to keep going. He became more than just a runner. He became a symbol of resilience. And it was just so inspiring. And this isn't even the craziest part. By the time he reached Ontario, Terry wasn't just a lonely kid on the road anymore. I mean, tens of thousands of people lined the streets. He was honored at a CFL football game with a standing ovation. In Toronto, he threw the first pitch at a Blue Jays game to just thunderous applause. But Terry didn't care about fame. He only cared about one thing, which was raising money. And what he did next made his original $1 million goal look small. And he wasn't just only logging miles, right? He was building a movement. Terry raised his first $1 million, but instead of stopping there and being satisfied, he raised the stakes. $1 for every Canadian. So that meant $24 million. He accepted every invitation that he could if it meant more donations. He ran, crowds grew, donations skyrocketed, and he just turned into a national hero. But then everything changed. On September 1st, 1980, outside of Thunder Bay, Ontario, more than halfway across Canada, Terry's chest began to ache, and he was coughing, he was gasping for air, and for the first time, he had to stop mid-run. Doctors then gave him devastating news. The cancer had spread to his lungs, and so the Marathon of Hope was over after 143 days. Terry said, people were telling me, keep going, don't give up, you can do it. I started to think about those comments in that mile too, and I thought, this may be my last one. And from his hospital bed, Terry still spoke of hope. There can be no reason for me to stop, no matter what pain I suffer. It's nothing compared to the pain of those who have cancer, of those who have to endure treatment. And so then from the hospital, he said, I've said to people before that I'm going to do my very best to make it. I'm not going to give up, but I might not make it. And if I don't, the Marathon of Hope better continue. And Canadians made sure it did. By February 1981, Canadians had raised the full $24 million that Terry had asked for. I start to cry when I tell this story. $1 for every citizen. Less than 6 months later, on June 28, 1981, Terry died at just 22 years old. And even though he didn't finish his run, he started something that never stopped. On September 13, 1981, 3 months after his death, Canada and the world finished his run. Over 300,000 people walked, ran, cycled to donations raising over $3.5 million. And every year since, the Terry Fox Run and Foundation has continued his Marathon of Hope. Today, it's in over 60 countries worldwide. It's raised over $900 million for cancer research. Terry's run was raw, unfinished, and cut short, and that's why it hits so hard. He never got to complete it. So the world completed it for him. See? You can visit terryfox.org. You can get a t-shirt that says finish it to support the cause, because that's what Terry wanted you to do. And this is still not even why I think he's the greatest athlete ever. I want to know first, do you think he's the greatest? Do you have someone else in mind? Who should I cover next? Fansplain me in the comments. Okay, here it is. The most insane part of the story. Terry Fox, the 22-year-old young man from Canada, started the Marathon of Hope at the Atlantic Ocean, heading west, and he made it more than halfway across the country before having to stop because his cancer returned, running a total of 3,339 miles. He did all of that in just 143 days. That is the distance of a full marathon every single day for 143 days straight on one leg. It's crazy. It's amazing. And I think Terry Fox is the greatest athlete ever.